All right, so we know Bitcoin is absolutely running at the moment, which is exciting. That's the first sign of our bull run. But let's be real. If you've got 10 grand in the market and Bitcoin's around 20%, now you got 12 grand. What the hell are you gonna do with the extra 2,000? We are here for the life-changing gains, the 10x's, 20x's, 50x's. I'll even say it. It's been done before. The 1,000x's on our money. We want to turn that 10 grand into a million. So I want to show you how you can translate these Bitcoin gains into altcoin season, what you need to look for, what type of tokens we need to invest in, and the biggest mistake that people make, and a bonus amusing that I've had, which is more of a question to you guys. I want your thoughts on something. So let's start at the top. Bitcoin is essentially the music to this musical chairs charade that we're all playing. And I saw this tweet, which was a pretty phenomenal tweet. If you ever listen to someone like Michael Saylor, if you haven't, go listen to Michael Saylor. He's going to make you very bullish on crypto in general. But he's a strong believer that Bitcoin will be going up indefinitely, forever. And when you zoom out, it becomes very clear because this is the Bitcoin yearly chart from 2013 all the way up to 2023, maybe 2024. I'm not really sure where that lines up. But you can see the whites are the bull markets and the blacks are the bears. It's like, if you just get some perspective, you'll see that Bitcoin is the best performing asset of all time. And Bitcoin is a pretty damn good place to put your money over the long term. And you can see the recent pumps, if you haven't seen yet, is caused by the insane amount of volume coming in from these ETFs. You can see that BlackRock's spot ETF alone broke its personal record today, trading over $1.3 billion. You can see that this yellow line here on the right, $1.3 billion. And you can see the other ETFs, which I heard Michael Saylor talk about this. It's like companies that took Bitcoin public. And now everyone in the public can actually buy these shares, except not just one company took them public. There's about 9 different companies have taken Bitcoin public, and there's going to be more to come. And you can see the total was over $2 billion of Bitcoin traded in just one day. Now, the most fascinating thing about this is just yesterday, Bitcoin purchased by ETF, so traded volume is both bought and sold, although the majority of it at the moment is buys. You can see this is just buys. 9,163 Bitcoin were purchased by all those ETFs in total in one day, which is an insane amount of money flowing into it. But here's the thing, there's only 900 Bitcoins produced a day. And those 900 Bitcoins, they go to the Bitcoin miners to reward them for processing transactions on the Bitcoin network. But you can see the asymmetry here. There's 10 times more demand than there is supply. Now, if you know basic economics, what happens when demand outweighs supply by 10x? The price goes up 10x. But the other thing that we're also not factoring in here is that in just 50 days from now, we have the Bitcoin halving, where the miner rewards will be 450 Bitcoins per day. This math is not adding up unless you count in the fact that we're going to squeeze that price and it's going to skyrocket, as we're already seeing. But to get to the core of this video, skyrocket might mean a 2x. Maybe we go from 40 grand to 80 grand. Maybe it means a 3x. We might go from 40 to 120. Or we could get the hyper Bitcoinization, tough word to say, not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But the theory there is that people can take unlimited debt in fiat, in US dollars, and just put it into Bitcoin and therefore pump up the price way higher than you could ever imagine. That could even be a 10x. But this is the way the crypto whip works, is that the lower market caps are here on the right, the highest market caps are here on the left. This is the handle of the whip. Now, when you pick up a whip and you see you got Bitcoin on the handle comes up first. That's Bitcoin doing its 20-30% raise. And then the whip slowly comes up and follows all the way down. And the more volatile, the faster the whip's traveling is, the further down the whip you go. So you can see if Bitcoin was to 2x, for example, you'd have these coins in here, maybe the Sandboxes, the X Infinities, things that are close to $1 billion market cap, maybe that goes to 4 billion. And of course, these are all just rough numbers and example tokens. Maybe in the middle, something like PAL or ChainGPT might 10x your money. And then right down the end, the ones like ExceedMe or RFox, something with a $4 or $5 million market cap, there's no reason they can't get up to that $150 million market cap and give you a 40x on your money. But what everyone is saying to wait for is that lag, because when you pull that whip up, it doesn't immediately snap on the other end. There's a little bit of a delay, because as the momentum travels down the chain, that's when you'll get the actual altcoins running. So people are waiting for altcoin season. And this is an example of how delayed altcoin season was last bull market. You can see we've got Bitcoin here in the blue, and that leads the rallies. And then we've got Mana. This is Decentraland. This is one of the biggest gaming tokens out there. It's actually a metaverse. And you can see back here in 2020, Bitcoin was about $10,000 right here. And it ran all the way up to $60,000. So you had a 6x on Bitcoin. But if you look, you can see that Mana actually waited a little bit until it ran. It waited until Bitcoin was about $40,000 before it really started its run. So it had already 4x'd. And you can see the volatility difference here. This was at, you can see the price of Mana is about 8 cents and it ran up to $1.40. Let me do some quick math. So that's about an 18x. In the time that Bitcoin 4x, you can see that volatility multiplier that we're talking about. And then when Bitcoin dipped, of course, Mana dipped extra because the volatility works on the other side as well. But when it started going up again, you can see once again there was a delay. And Bitcoin went from 31K up to 67K, so just over a 2x. Mana went from about 64 cents down here all the way up to $4.90. So you can see that is about an 8x. Now, there is one asterisk, and this was the musing that I had, and I actually found someone else had this musing, Crypto T. She says, this cycle is different because the Bitcoin ETF people can't swap to altcoins, where last bull market, we had insane amounts of people buying these Bitcoins, and then Bitcoin goes up and they're like, wow, what about all these other coins? They look good as well. And you can see it flowed down to there. So people sold their Bitcoins, traded it into the altcoins and made a killing. But this time, a lot of the volume, remember, is coming in through the ETFs, which means the Bitcoin are actually bought by people like BlackRock, and you can't trade them down into altcoin. Now, my personal unprofessional opinion on this is even though you can't trade those ETF Bitcoins into these altcoins, I think what's happening is the market is pumping so much that people are going to double and triple their money who aren't in those ETFs, and they're going to roll them down into the altcoins. And it's also important to remember it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. So Bitcoin has gone up $240 billion since the ETFs have been approved, but they haven't had $240 billion of inflow. What do you think about the altcoin season, and what are you holding? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.